What's good, everybody? Welcome to the Season 2 premiere of Know This with Ariana, the show where it's cool to know yourself and know your world. I'm your host, Ariana, and it's great to be back. Oh, and if you're checking us out for the first time ever and didn't even know there was a Season 1, like, what is she talking about? Who is this chick? It's all good. You're here now, and that's all that matters. So you can see where we've been and what we've been up to on our website, knowthis.tv. And back to the matters at hand. We are trying on a new live format with this season, and we've got a great half hour lined up for you here at Campus Progress headquarters on this special trip to Washington, D.C. for the inauguration. A little bit about Campus Progress. Our host is a national organization that works with and for young people to promote progressive solutions to key political and social challenges. So I couldn't think of a better host for the conversation we're about to get into. So it's the day after the inauguration, and while throughout the season on the show we will talk about a whole range of topics from pop culture to music to social causes, a little self-empowerment, all that talk is on hold because today's theme is all about politics and Obama's next term. And I'm excited to be joined by some brilliant people for this discussion that I'll introduce in just a moment. But first, we'd love you to add your voice to the conversation as well online, where you can tweet us at KnowThisTV or use the hashtag KnowThisDC to add your comments as we go along. So now to my guests. She is a social impact strategist and World Economic Forum global shaper who has spoken in venues all over the world and on TV and used to run Campus Progress back in the day, actually. Erica Williams.
Thanks, Ariana.
He's the Advocacy Manager here for our host today at Campus Progress, Eddie Garcia. She's a labor policy expert specializing in economic security, low-wage labor markets, and immigrant workers, Alicia Criado. And he's a writer, social commentator, and mental health advocate whose work you can find in The Nation, The Guardian, The Root, and had an amazing piece in Gawker the other day that you need to check out, Mychal Denzel Smith. So thank you all for being here for the premiere.
Thank you.
Really, really excited. So before we dive into our political talk, we have some good news to highlight in our What's Good segment. So this segment is a time for some reminders of things to celebrate, remain inspired about, in striving to be the best we can be in that feel-good after-school special kind of way, but without the corn, hopefully, anyway. There may be some corn with it on occasion, I won't lie, right? But no cat videos, I promise that. So first up, the inauguration ceremony that we had yesterday. I'm assuming everybody was tuning in on that one. So what did you all think? What do you think were some of the highlights for that?
I mean, I loved it. I went down to the mall and did all of the kind of big hoopla in 2009 and have horror stories of the traffic and the crowd. So I decided this time to stay home and kind of watch it as a true outsider and observer. And as always, it was kind of a really inspirational, motivational moment. But I was most inspired by a speech, which actually borrowed a whole lot from Lincoln's second inaugural address. And the optimism in it and the clarity of purpose, he was so progressive.
Yes.
Which is something that...
ambitiously progressive.
Yeah, and that's something we don't often get from Obama. I mean, whether you're critical of that or not, there are reasons he was in crisis 4 years ago, but he was so progressive that it actually kind of rekindled some of that 2008 hope feel that, like, we're going to actually be able to see and get things done this term.
And I think he talked a lot about the issues that he's alluded to some of the issues that he's going to address within this term that I think are going to be really important, like addressing the rights of immigrants, addressing the rights of LGBT folks in the United States. And so I think, like, I was there in person with some of my friends, and it was really, really exciting to be in a space, in a community with so many people from all different kinds of walks of life, coming together again, really, in such a big way, and to really hear the president speak directly to the communities that were represented in that area, I think was really exciting, and it was really inspiring for a lot of people.
Definitely. And of course, and then there was the highlight. I found it kind of funny. We were standing next to each other at the inauguration. Jay-Z and Beyonce seemed to get like the biggest cheers at different times when we were in the crowd. I thought that was kind of hilarious. So, I mean, I think it was a fun pop culture moment, but I also...
They're the real second family.
Yeah, they're the real
second.
Exactly.
They're the real second family.
I know, I was just like, where's Blue Ivy?
A friend of mine, Gene Debbie, who writes for NPR, and he put up on Facebook yesterday, and he's like, this is kind of the ultimate surreal moment. There's a black president, a Latina Supreme Court justice, You know, a former drug dealer from Marcy Projects,
sitting up there in the box, just like
there,
chilling with the
like,
shades.
it's this, and you know, and a gay Cuban poet.
Yes.
Like it's just this moment.
Yes, that
of
was a big highlight.
Let's recognize how far we have really come.
Yes,
Yeah.
that was definitely.
I think, yeah, on all of those points, you know, overall electrifying. I mean, just for me, it was my first time in the National Mall, first swearing in, doing all the hoopla, security checks, getting in there. But then just seeing how many people that had traveled from who knows where and hearing that chatter. But then, yes, being able to reflect and really look at who is up on this national stage. I mean, I don't know, you know, just thinking of some of the older people there and kind of glancing around, I think, for me, I think it will be another 20, 30 years that I'll be able to reflect on yesterday and really, it'll sit with me of really how historical just this specific inauguration swearing-in ceremony was.
Yeah, and I think that's what Obama has done best, whether he's fallen short of your political expectation. He hasn't fallen short of mine because I didn't expect much. But, you know, as disappointing as you may be in like his policy prescriptions, what he's done has folded a lot of different people who felt outside of the American experience, the American story, into that. And you can feel like you have an actual stake in this.
Yes. To the point where I'm actually curious, once he's not president anymore, depending on who comes, if it's not a woman, hopefully it will be a woman, or somebody else who's just other than our history of white male presidents, just kind of what it's going to look like, if there's going to be as much excitement if we go back to that. I want to move on to another piece of good news, the National Day of Service, which coincides with MLK Day, which happened on Saturday in DC because inauguration was yesterday, but across the country, MLK Day. Did you all get involved with anything or have any stories to add to that?
Well, it's interesting. My aunt is a DC public school teacher, and they had obviously announced the Day of Service was going to be taking place at her school on Saturday. They were going to be painting and kind of cleaning out and, you know, gardening and all the normal activities. And, you know, at first there was kind of a trickle of people volunteering to come from the school, the parents. And then they saw a few days before Saturday, they sent a Secret Service agent to the school. And they were wondering, like, why is there Secret Service here? And they said, oh, well, Arnie Duncan's going to come. But they kept sending Secret Service throughout the day. And so the rumor and the word got out that, like, Obama's coming. And it was packed, I mean, the list packed in that moment. So I thought that was really cute that, like, people were still that excited to see him on that day. Yeah. But aside from that one experience, I mean, the stories that I've heard just from looking all over the city here in DC were that people were eager and willing to serve and excited about it.
Yeah, I was at the DC Armory, so for one of the official administration.
Yeah, Joe Biden was.
He was
showed up there.
right. Well, actually, he's the husband of Dr. Joe Biden.
Yes, that's right.
To let the audience, you know that.
Yeah.
And was there with the entire family, from the kids to the grandkids, and really wanted to make it know that he was there, kind of, you know, to acknowledge that this day is more than just kind of, I know, a day to serve, but really to reflect not only in Dr. Martin Luther King, but also to really, you know, kind of make it a family experience. And I would say that at the DC Armory, I mean, there was schools, there were Boy Scouts, there was, you know, after school programs, putting together care packages for servicemen and women overseas. So it was great. It was a good experience. Yeah.
Any other special stories around? I know what's kind of great is that so there's MLK Day of Service, and it also coincides with the fact that January is National Mentoring Month. And I know for me personally, mentoring is a very near and dear to my heart. I have amazing mentors that I don't know where I'd be if it wasn't for them, and then being able to also just pass that on to a next generation of young leaders. Are any of you celebrating in the sense that you have a mentee that you get to support?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm a part of an organization that is really involved in mentoring young people in the issues that they're working on in their local communities. And so I think that, especially this weekend, and you know, the beginning of a new term, a beginning of new conversations around issues that are important for young people that work on immigrant rights issues and work on higher education issues. Just in the conversations that I've been having with young people, I think in the past couple of weeks, there's been a lot of re-energizing new conversations about how to make this stuff happen at the local level, as well as how to engage on with what's happening at the federal level. Nice. And so that's, you know, specifically related to immigration, since that seems to be like a big priority for the next administration. I think a lot of it is also around higher education and, you know, student debt issues, just because that was a conversation and a campaign that we were really involved in last year that we're going to continue to work on. And so I just think that the excitement that young people are sort of having around their issues locally, I think is really exciting too.